The greatest gift you can give yourself is the commitment to becoming the best version of you. Most people talk about success, they talk about change, they talk about becoming better, but talking doesn't change anything. Action does. And if you look around, you'll see that most people are stuck, not because they're incapable, but because they never take real action. They settle for less. They wait for the perfect moment. They make excuses. And before they know it, years have passed and nothing has changed. But here's the truth. Your life will only improve when you improve. Your success will only grow when you grow. And your future will only get better when you decide to make it better. That's what separates those who succeed from those who don't. It's not luck. It's not talent. It's the commitment to growth, the willingness to do what most people avoid, the discipline to push through when things get tough. If you're watching this, then something inside you knows you're capable of more. And you're right. You have more potential than you realize, more strength than you've tapped into, more power to change your life than you've ever used. But potential means nothing if you don't act on it. This video isn't just about motivation. It's about the steps, the mindset, and the daily actions that create real transformation. No shortcuts, no magic formulas, just the truth about what it takes to build the best version of yourself. If you're tired of feeling stuck, if you know deep down that you're meant for more, then this is your moment. Not tomorrow, not someday, right now. Because the life you want isn't going to wait for you. You have to go after it. So if you're ready to take control, to break old habits, to become stronger, smarter, more disciplined, then stay with me. Because this will change the way you see yourself. And more importantly, it will give you the tools to become your best self. Let's get started. Number 1, develop a clear vision of who you want to be. Creating your best self starts with one powerful decision: to develop a clear vision of who you want to be. That's where everything begins. Because without a vision, you're drifting. You wake up every day reacting to life instead of designing it. You follow routines, but there's no real direction. You work hard, but it feels like you're just going in circles. That's the danger of living without a clear vision. You get stuck in the same patterns, dealing with the same problems, never really moving forward. But the moment you decide to define your future, everything changes. When you have a vision, your actions have meaning. You wake up knowing exactly what you need to do. You don't waste time on distractions. You don't let other people's opinions control your decisions. You take charge of your own life because you know where you're going. That's the power of clarity. And here's the truth. Most people never do this. They let life happen to them. They settle for whatever comes their way. They tell themselves, I'll figure it out later. But later never comes. 1 year turns into 5, and 5 turns into 10. And before they know it, they're looking back, wondering why they never became the person they wanted to be. That's the cost of not having a vision. That's what happens when you don't take the time to decide who you want to become. So if you don't want to wake up years from now with regret, the time to create your vision is now. And I'm not talking about vague wishes. I'm not talking about saying, I just want to be successful, or I just want to be happy. That's not a vision. That's a hope. A vision is specific. A vision is clear. A vision is something you can describe in detail. If I asked you right now, who do you want to be in 5 years? Could you tell me? Could you explain it without hesitation? If the answer is no, then that's the first thing you need to fix. Picture yourself 5 years from now. What kind of person do you see? How do you walk? How do you talk? What kind of habits do you have? What does your daily routine look like? What kind of people do you surround yourself with? What kind of mindset do you carry? If you don't know the answers to these questions, then life will answer them for you. And trust me, if you let life decide for you, you won't like where you end up. Clarity is everything. The more specific your vision is, the easier it becomes to turn it into reality. Because once you know exactly who you want to be, your actions start to align. The right habits become obvious. The right choices become clear. You stop wasting time on things that don't move you forward. You stop letting fear control you. You stop waiting for the perfect moment, because you understand that every moment is an opportunity to take a step closer to your vision. But here's the challenge. Most people won't do this because they don't believe it's possible for them. They look at their current situation and think, I don't have the resources. I don't have the skills. I don't have the confidence. And because they can't see how it's possible, they don't even try. But that's where they go wrong. You don't wait until you're ready. You don't wait until you have everything figured out. You decide first, and then you build the path. Your vision isn't based on who you are today. It's based on who you can become. It's based on the potential inside you that you haven't tapped into yet. But if you never define it, you'll never reach it. And if you never reach it, you'll never know what you are truly capable of. Think about the people you admire, the ones who inspire you, the ones who have built something great. They didn't get there by accident. They didn't just wake up one day successful. They had a vision long before they had results. They saw their future before anyone else could, and they moved towards it every single day. That's what you need to do. You need to be the person who sees the future before it happens. You need to be the person who decides, this is who I'm becoming, and then commits to making it real. Not just in your mind, not just as a nice idea, but as a daily mission. And let me tell you, once you do this, you will feel a shift. You will feel a new sense of purpose. You will wake up with energy. You will feel a fire inside you, because now every day has meaning. Every action moves you forward. Every moment becomes part of a bigger plan. But if you don't take this step, if you don't create a vision, life will just keep happening to you. You'll keep reacting instead of leading. You'll keep waiting instead of acting. And before you know it, years will pass, and nothing will have changed. So don't wait for life to push you forward. Decide where you're going. Get clear on who you want to be, and then start moving. Because the sooner you define your vision, the sooner you start becoming it. Number 2, you can't win with weak habits. Success doesn't come from luck. It doesn't come from talent alone. It comes from what you do every single day. Your habits determine your future. They shape your mindset, your discipline, and your results. And if your habits are weak, your life will be weak. You can't win with weak habits. It's impossible. You can dream big, you can set goals, you can even work hard sometimes. But if your daily actions don't align with success, then success will always feel out of reach. This is where most people get it wrong. They want better results, but they don't change their daily habits. They talk about wanting success, but their actions tell a different story. They stay up late, scrolling through their phone. They hit the snooze button in the morning. They waste hours on distractions, and then they wonder why they're stuck. It's not a mystery. It's not bad luck. It's their habits. If you want to change your life, the first thing you must change is what you do every single day. Weak habits keep you stuck in the same cycle. They drain your energy, they kill your motivation, and they keep you from making progress. And the worst part, you don't even realize it's happening. You tell yourself, I'll start tomorrow. You make excuses. You convince yourself that you're working hard, when in reality, you're just busy doing things that don't really matter. That's what weak habits do. They make you feel like you're making progress when in reality, you're just running in place. But here's the good news. Just like weak habits can hold you back, strong habits can push you forward. And the difference between the two, it's just a decision to stop doing the things that waste your time. A decision to take control of your life, instead of letting life control you. A decision to build habits that actually move you towards success, instead of keeping you comfortable. And let me be clear, changing your habits isn't easy. It's uncomfortable. It requires discipline. It requires consistency. But the people who succeed in life are the ones who do the hard things, even when they don't feel like it. They don't rely on motivation. They rely on discipline. They don't wait for the perfect moment. They create the perfect moment by taking action. And that's what separates winners from everyone else. It's not talent. It's not luck. It's their habits. Look at the most successful people in any field. Athletes, entrepreneurs, leaders, they all have one thing in common. They have strong habits. They wake up early. They take care of their body. They read. They plan their day. They don't waste time. They don't make excuses. And because they do these things consistently, success is inevitable for them. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Because when you have strong habits, success isn't something you chase. It's something that becomes a natural result of how you live. Now think about your own habits. Be honest with yourself. Are they leading you toward the life you want? Or are they keeping you stuck? If you're not where you want to be, don't look at your goals. Look at your habits. Because your habits will tell you exactly why you're getting the results you're getting. And if you realize that your habits are weak, don't beat yourself up. Don't waste time feeling guilty. Just make the decision to change. Decide that from this moment on, you're going to build habits that align with success. Decide that you're done making excuses. Decide that you're going to be the kind of person who takes control of their life, instead of being controlled by their habits. Start small. Wake up earlier. Stop hitting snooze. Plan your day before it starts. Read something that makes you better. Exercise. Take care of your body. Stop wasting time on things that don't matter. And most importantly, be consistent. Because the truth is, success isn't about doing something big once. It's about doing the right things over and over again, until they become second nature. Most people won't do this. They'll hear this message. They'll feel motivated for a moment, and then they'll go back to their old habits. But you don't have to be like most people. You can decide, right now, that you're going to be different, that you're going to do what others won't, that you're going to build habits that make success inevitable. Because at the end of the day, you don't get what you wish for. You get what your habits prepare you for. And if your habits are weak, you will always struggle. But if your habits are strong, nothing can stop you. Number 3, you are the only problem and the only solution. There comes a moment in life when you realize that no one is coming to save you. No one is going to wake up and suddenly make your problems disappear. No one is going to hand you success, discipline, or the mindset you need to win. And in that moment, you have 2 choices. You can keep waiting, keep blaming, keep making excuses for why things aren't working out for you. Or you can look in the mirror and say, I am responsible for my life. Because here's the truth. If you are the problem, you are also the solution. That's not easy to hear, is it? It's far more comfortable to believe that life is unfair, that circumstances are holding you back, that other people have it easier than you. It's easier to blame the economy, your boss, your family, or the way you grew up. But listen to me. The moment you take responsibility for where you are is the moment you take back your power. Because if you're the reason for your struggles, that means you also have the power to fix them. And that is the most liberating realization you will ever have. Think about it. If someone else was truly in control of your life, if your success depended entirely on what other people did or didn't do, you would be powerless. You would have no choice but to accept whatever life throws at you. But that's not true, is it? Because every day you make choices, and those choices determine where you end up. If you choose to waste time, that's on you. If you choose to let fear stop you, that's on you. If you choose to stay in the same situation year after year, waiting for something to change, that's on you. And the faster you accept that, the faster you can start turning things around. Most people never reach their full potential because they refuse to take responsibility. They spend years complaining about the same problems, but they never actually do anything about them. They talk about their dreams, but they never take the first step. They say they want more out of life, but they never change their habits, their mindset, or their actions. And then they wonder why nothing changes. They wonder why success seems so out of reach. But not you, because you are different. You are willing to hear the truth. You are willing to do the hard work. And that means you have the ability to completely transform your life. So here's the first thing you have to do. You have to stop lying to yourself. Stop telling yourself that you're trying your best when you know you're not. Stop convincing yourself that you're just unlucky when the truth is you haven't been disciplined enough. Stop saying you don't have time when you know you waste hours every day on distractions. Stop blaming your past, your circumstances, or other people for where you are. Own it. Own everything. And once you do that, once you take full responsibility, everything changes. Because now you're in control. Now you can start making different choices. Now you can start developing the habits, the mindset, and the discipline you need to win. Let's talk about action. Because taking responsibility isn't just about saying, okay, it's my fault. That's just the beginning. Taking responsibility means deciding right now that you are done making excuses, that you are done waiting for the perfect moment, that you are done blaming anything outside of yourself for where you are. And from this moment on, you will do whatever it takes to change. That's the mindset of someone who succeeds. Now here's where it gets tough. Because when you start taking responsibility, you will realize that everything in your life is a direct result of the choices you've made. And that means if you want different results, you have to start making different choices. That means cutting out bad habits. That means being disciplined even when you don't feel like it. That means working on yourself every single day. And yes, it will be hard. Yes, there will be days when you don't feel like it. Yes, there will be moments when you want to go back to your old ways. But listen to me. If you give up, you stay stuck. If you quit, you go back to square one. If you let your emotions dictate your actions, you will never get anywhere. Because success isn't about how you feel. It's about what you do, consistently, no matter what. You want to know the difference between people who win and people who don't. It's not talent. It's not intelligence. It's not luck. It's mindset. It's discipline. It's the ability to look in the mirror and say, I am responsible for everything in my life, and then go do something about it. The moment you stop blaming, complaining, and waiting for things to change is the moment you take control. It's the moment you step into your power. Because now you are the one deciding how your life will turn out. You are the one shaping your future. And that is the most powerful thing you can ever realize. So here's the challenge for you. Starting today, take full responsibility for everything in your life. Your success, your failures, your progress, your setbacks, everything. Stop making excuses. Stop waiting for someone to come and fix your problems. Look at your habits. Look at your mindset. Look at your daily actions. If they are not leading you to the life you want, change them. Right now, not tomorrow, not next week. Right now. Because if you want a better life, you have to take control of it. If you want to succeed, you have to build the discipline. If you want to change, you have to do the work. No one is going to do it for you. And that's the best news you will ever hear. Because if no one else is in control, that means you are. And that means you can change your life whenever you decide to. The only question is, will you? Number 4. Discipline is freedom. Laziness is a trap. There are two types of people in this world. Those who live on their own terms, and those who are controlled by their weaknesses. And let me tell you something. One of the biggest lies people believe is that discipline is restrictive, that it takes away your freedom. But the truth is, discipline is the only path to real freedom. Because when you are disciplined, you are in control of your life. And when you lack discipline, life controls you. Think about it. A person who wakes up every day with discipline, with purpose, with structure, they have choices. They can decide how to use their time. They can create their future. They have freedom because they are in control. But a person who lacks discipline, their life is ruled by impulse. They sleep in because they don't feel like getting up. They put things off because they don't feel like working. They waste hours on distractions because they don't have the discipline to focus. And in the end, they are not free. They are trapped in a cycle of procrastination, of missed opportunities, of regret. Laziness is a trap. It feels comfortable in the moment, but over time it destroys your life. You skip one workout, and it feels like no big deal. You skip a second, then a third, and suddenly you are out of shape and tired all the time. You put off working on your goals for one day, then another, and before you know it, years have passed, and you are in the same place. That's what laziness does. It doesn't hit you all at once. It creeps in slowly, and before you even realize it, you are stuck. But let me tell you the good news. You can break free from that trap anytime you decide to. The moment you choose discipline over comfort, everything changes. Discipline means doing what you said you would do, even when you don't feel like it. Discipline means showing up, putting in the work, staying consistent, no matter what. And the more disciplined you become, the more control you have over your life. Most people don't want to hear this because they want the easy way. They want success without effort. They want results without sacrifice. But life doesn't work that way. The price of success is discipline. The price of real freedom is consistency. And that's the price most people are not willing to pay. Here's something to think about. When you see a successful person, a disciplined person, someone who is in shape, someone who has built a great life, what do you see? You see freedom. You see someone who has choices, someone who can go anywhere, do anything, because they put in the work. But when you see someone who lacks discipline, they are trapped in bad habits, trapped in financial stress, trapped in a body they are not happy with, trapped in a life they don't want, and all because they refuse to develop discipline. Every single day you are either getting stronger or weaker. Every decision you make is either leading you toward freedom or trapping you in laziness. And let me tell you, laziness feels good in the moment, but over time it destroys you. It takes away your confidence. It takes away your energy. It takes away your potential. And if you let it, it will take away your entire future. But here's the truth. No one is naturally disciplined. No one is born with it. Discipline is something you build. It's something you practice every single day. It starts with small choices. Waking up early, even when you don't feel like it. Going to the gym even when you'd rather stay home. Working on your goals even when you don't feel motivated. And every time you choose discipline, you take back control of your life. Now here's what most people don't understand. The more disciplined you become, the easier life gets. Because when you build discipline, you don't have to rely on motivation. Motivation is temporary. It comes and goes. But discipline is reliable. It doesn't matter if you feel like it or not. You do it anyway. And when you do that long enough, it becomes automatic. It becomes who you are. So let me ask you something. Do you want to be free? Do you want to wake up every day with control over your time, your energy, your future? Then you need discipline. Do you want to break free from bad habits, from procrastination, from feeling stuck? Then you need discipline. Do you want to achieve more, become more, live a life you are proud of? Then you need discipline. Because without it, nothing else matters. Without it, you will always be a slave to your emotions, to your weaknesses, to your excuses. Starting today, make a decision. No more laziness, no more waiting, no more putting things off until tomorrow. Build discipline now. Push yourself when you don't feel like it. Stay consistent even when it's hard. Because the more disciplined you become, the more freedom you will have. And at the end of the day, freedom is what we are all chasing. The only question is, are you willing to do what it takes to get it? Number 5, hard work pays off, but only if you stay consistent. Everybody wants success. Everybody wants results. But the truth is, most people don't stay consistent long enough to see it happen. They try for a few days, maybe a few weeks, and when they don't see immediate success, they quit. They start a new workout routine. They work hard for a short time. But the moment they don't see fast progress, they stop. They start a new business. They put in effort for a few months, but when it doesn't take off right away, they give up. And this is why so many people never achieve their goals. It's not because they don't work hard. It's because they don't stay consistent. Hard work pays off, but only if you keep going. That's what most people don't understand. It's easy to work hard when you feel motivated, when everything is exciting and new. But what about when it gets tough? What about when progress is slow? What about when you don't feel like it? That's where most people quit. But here's the truth. Success doesn't come to the people who start strong. It comes to the people who keep going, day after day, no matter what. Think about the people who are successful, the athletes, the entrepreneurs, the top performers in any field. What do they all have in common? It's not talent. It's not luck. It's not some secret formula. It's consistency. They keep showing up, they put in the work, even when it's boring, even when it's hard, even when it feels like nothing is happening. They don't stop just because progress is slow. They don't quit just because they don't see results right away. They understand that every single effort adds up, that every workout, every hour of practice, every small step moves them forward. Most people don't think this way. Most people expect quick results. They want to work hard for a few weeks and see massive success. And when that doesn't happen, they give up. But let me tell you something. Nothing great is built overnight. No successful person got there in a week or a month. Every big success you see is built on years of consistent effort. And that's the part most people never see. They see the finished product, the success, the achievements, but they don't see the thousands of hours of work behind it. They don't see the sacrifices, the discipline, the relentless consistency that made it happen. The problem is most people are addicted to instant gratification. They want things fast. They want to see the results of their hard work right away. And when they don't, they assume it's not working. But success doesn't work on your timeline. Growth takes time. Mastery takes time. Building something meaningful takes time. And the people who win in life are the ones who understand this. They don't quit when progress is slow. They don't give up just because they are tired. They stay disciplined. They stay committed. They keep working. Day after day, year after year, no matter what. And here's the thing. If you can learn to be consistent, nothing can stop you. Because if you just keep going, if you refuse to quit, if you keep pushing forward no matter what, you will get there. It may take longer than you want. It may be harder than you expected. But if you stay consistent, success is inevitable. That's the secret most people never understand. It's not about working hard for a little while. It's about working hard every single day for as long as it takes. So ask yourself, are you willing to be consistent? Are you willing to put in the effort, even when no one is watching? Are you willing to stay disciplined, even when progress is slow? Because the answer to those questions will determine your future. Most people don't fail because they lack talent. They don't fail because they lack intelligence. They fail because they quit too soon. They stopped just before they were about to break through. They let doubt and impatience talk them out of their dreams. But not you. You will be different. You will understand that hard work only pays off if you keep going. You will not let temporary setbacks stop you. You will not let slow progress discourage you. You will stay consistent because you know that's the only way to succeed. One day you will look back and realize that every single effort, every small step, every day you showed up when you didn't feel like it, it all added up. And you will be grateful that you never stopped. Because in the end, the people who succeed are not the ones who worked the hardest for a short time. They are the ones who stayed consistent for as long as it took. And that can be you, starting today. The problem with most people is they work hard only when they feel inspired. They push themselves only when the mood is right. But that's not how real success is built. If you only work hard when you feel like it, you'll never achieve anything significant. If you only give your best when it's convenient, you'll always be stuck in the same place. The key is to work hard even when you don't feel like it, to show up even when you're tired, to push yourself even when progress is slow. That's how you separate yourself from the rest. That's how you win. Success is not about making big leaps. It's about taking small, consistent steps every day. It's about doing the work even when no one is watching. It's about staying focused even when distractions try to pull you away. And most importantly, it's about trusting the process. Because if you stay committed long enough, the results will come. They always do. Think about the people you admire, the ones who have built something great. Do you think they got there by working hard only when they felt motivated? No, they got there by showing up every single day. By doing the hard work, even when it was boring, even when it was painful, even when it felt like nothing was changing. They trusted the process. They stayed consistent, and that's why they succeeded. If you want to change your life, you have to commit to consistency. You have to decide that you will keep going, no matter what. You have to stop looking for quick fixes and start embracing the long game. Because the truth is, hard work always pays off, but only if you stay consistent. Most people want results without the effort. They want success without the struggle. But it doesn't work that way. If you want something, you have to be willing to put in the work, and not just for a day or a week or a month. You have to be willing to work for as long as it takes. That's what separates the winners from the quitters. And here's the best part. When you finally achieve your goal, when you finally see the results of your hard work, you will realize that every sacrifice was worth it. Every late night, every early morning, every moment of doubt, it was all worth it. Because success feels best when you've earned it. When you know you didn't cut corners. When you know you gave it everything you had. So from this moment on, make a decision. Decide that you will stay consistent. Decide that you will keep working, no matter how long it takes. Decide that you will not quit, no matter how slow the progress. Because if you do that, success is just a matter of time. Hard work pays off, but only if you stay consistent. Number 6, take massive action. Most people sit around waiting for the perfect moment. They wait for the right time, the right opportunity, the right conditions. They tell themselves They'll start when they feel ready. But here's the truth. Waiting will get you nowhere. Nothing changes if you don't take action. You can have all the knowledge in the world, all the best ideas, all the motivation. But if you don't act, none of it matters. The people who succeed in life are not the ones who wait. They are the ones who take massive action. They don't just talk about their goals, they chase them down. They don't just plan, they execute. They move. They do whatever it takes to make things happen. Most people don't fail because they lack intelligence or talent. They fail because they hesitate. They overthink. They analyze everything to death. And by the time they finally decide to move, the opportunity is gone. They waste years stuck in the same place because they are too afraid to take action. They let fear control them. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of making mistakes. And because of that fear, they stay stuck. But let me tell you something. Inaction is the real failure. Doing nothing guarantees that nothing changes. You can sit and wish for a better life, but unless you take massive action, it will never happen. Think about the most successful people in the world. Do you think they had it all figured out before they started? Do you think they waited until they felt ready? No, they took action. They stepped into the unknown. They moved forward, even when they were scared, even when they didn't have all the answers, because they understood something that most people don't. Action creates momentum. Action builds confidence. The more you move, the more you learn. The more you do, the stronger you become. Most people don't understand this. They think they need to have everything planned perfectly before they start. But perfection is a trap. If you wait for the perfect moment, you will be waiting forever. There is no perfect time. There is no perfect plan. The only thing that matters is that you start, that you take the first step. No matter how small, that you push yourself forward. No matter how uncomfortable it feels. Action separates the winners from the dreamers. Anyone can dream. Anyone can wish for a better life. But only the people who take massive action actually make it happen. They don't make excuses. They don't wait for permission. They don't sit around hoping things will change. They go out and create change. They take risks. They step outside their comfort zones. They do what others won't, so they can have what others never will. You have to understand something. Every great success story starts with action. The people who achieve their dreams are not the ones who sit around waiting. They are the ones who decide, right now, that they will do whatever it takes. They don't care if they fail. They don't care if they make mistakes, because they know that every failure, every setback, every obstacle is just a lesson that makes them stronger. They know that progress is built through action, not through waiting. Look at your own life. How many times have you told yourself you'll start tomorrow? How many times have you waited for motivation to hit before you took action? How many opportunities have passed you by because you were too afraid to make a move? If you want to change your life, you need to stop waiting. You need to stop hesitating. You need to start acting right now, not tomorrow, not next week, not next year, right now. Massive action is the only way to break free from where you are. If you're stuck in a job you hate, don't just sit there complaining. Take action. If you're out of shape and unhappy with your body, don't wait for the perfect diet. Take action. If you want to start a business, don't waste time over analyzing. Take action. It doesn't matter if you don't know everything yet. It doesn't matter if you're scared. It doesn't matter if you fail. The only thing that matters is that you move, that you do something, that you start. Most people will never reach their potential because they are afraid to take big risks. They are afraid to step into the unknown. They are afraid to fail. But here's what you need to understand. Failure is not the opposite of success. Failure is part of success. Every successful person you admire has failed more times than you can count. The difference is, they didn't stop. They didn't let failure define them. They kept going. They kept taking action. And because of that, they won. Your life will not change until you decide to change it. No one is coming to save you. No one is going to hand you success. If you want something, you have to go after it with everything you've got. You have to push yourself harder than you ever have before. You have to stop making excuses and start making moves. Because if you don't, nothing will ever change. The truth is, most people are stuck in a cycle of thinking and never doing. They plan, they dream, they visualize, but they never actually take the steps to make it real. And that's why they stay stuck. But you don't have to be one of those people. You can be different. You can be the person who acts, who moves, who does what needs to be done, no matter how difficult it is. If you want to achieve something big, you can't take small, hesitant steps. You have to go all in. You have to commit fully. You have to take massive action, because that's the only way to get massive results. People who win in life are not the ones who dip their toes in the water. They are the ones who dive in head first, who take bold steps, who do whatever it takes to reach their goals. You have one life, one chance to make something of yourself, one chance to build the life you want. Don't waste it sitting on the sidelines. Don't waste it waiting for things to happen. Make things happen. Decide right now that you will be the kind of person who takes action, the kind of person who refuses to settle for less, the kind of person who doesn't just dream, but actually makes those dreams a reality. And when you look back years from now, you will be grateful that you did. You will be grateful that you didn't let fear stop you. You will be grateful that you took massive action. Because in the end, success doesn't go to the smartest or the most talented. It goes to the people who take action, the ones who refuse to quit, the ones who push forward, no matter what. And if you want to be successful, you must be one of those people. Starting now. Number 7, what you do in private shows up in public. Most people don't understand this simple truth. What you do when no one is watching will always show up when everyone is. You can't fake discipline. You can't pretend to be great. You can't suddenly show up and expect success if you haven't done the work behind the scenes. Your habits, your choices, your discipline in private are what determine the results you get in public. There's no shortcut. There's no way around it. You either put in the work when no one sees, or you suffer the consequences when it matters most. People look at successful individuals and assume they were born lucky, that things just worked out for them. What they don't see are the countless hours spent practicing, learning, improving, grinding away while everyone else was asleep. What you do in the quiet moments, the ones where nobody is there to cheer you on, is what makes the biggest difference in your life. Success is never an accident. It is the result of unseen effort. The way you train in the dark determines how you perform in the light. This is why so many people fail. They show up unprepared. They want the rewards without the discipline. They want the praise without the sacrifice. But the truth is, if you haven't earned it behind closed doors, it will show when the moment of truth arrives. You can't hide your work ethic. You can't hide your preparation. Sooner or later, everything gets exposed. Think about an athlete stepping onto the field. If they've been skipping workouts, if they've been taking shortcuts, it will show in their performance. If a singer hasn't been practicing, if a speaker hasn't been rehearsing, if a student hasn't been studying, it will be obvious when the moment comes. You can't pretend to be prepared. You either are or you aren't. The results don't lie. The same rule applies to everything in life. If you're in business, the way you handle the little details behind the scenes will show up in the way your business operates. If you're trying to get in shape, your private eating habits and workout discipline will determine how you look in public. If you're trying to build wealth, your private financial decisions will determine whether you succeed or struggle. Most people fail because they don't take this seriously. They cut corners when no one is watching. They lie to themselves. They say it doesn't matter, no one will know. But the problem is, you will know, and the results will know. You can't trick reality. You can't cheat hard work. You can't fake discipline. The most successful people in the world all have one thing in common. They do the work when nobody's watching. They don't need applause to stay consistent. They don't need validation to stay disciplined. They push themselves even when there's no audience, because they understand that every unseen effort adds up. Every late night grind, every early morning, every extra rep, every extra hour of study, every little sacrifice, it all matters, and eventually, it pays off. Look at your own life. Ask yourself honestly, what are you doing when nobody is watching? Are you putting in the work? Are you building the habits that will take you to the next level? Or are you cutting corners, hoping that somehow things will just work out, because they won't? If you don't prepare in private, you will be exposed in public. If you don't practice discipline when no one is holding you accountable, you will struggle when the pressure is on. This is why most people live their lives in frustration. They wonder why they aren't getting the results they want, but they aren't willing to look at the truth. The truth is, their daily habits are setting them up for failure. The truth is, their private discipline is weak, and that weakness shows up in their results. Success is not about luck, it's about cause and effect. It's about planting the right seeds and watering them every single day. The hard part is, nobody will cheer you on while you're planting those seeds. Nobody will clap for you when you're putting in the work at 5 a.m. Nobody will celebrate your discipline when you're saying no to distractions. But later, when the results come, everyone will see. Everyone will want to know your secret. But there is no secret. It's just the work you did when no one was watching. Most people want to take shortcuts, but shortcuts never last. If you build something without a strong foundation, it will collapse the moment pressure hits. That's why people who cheat their way to success always fall apart eventually. That's why people who fake their progress never sustain it. Because in the end, real success is built on real effort. So if you want to separate yourself from the crowd, start taking your private habits seriously. The way you do the little things when no one is looking is the way you will do everything. Excellence is not a one-time act. It is a habit. It is a way of life. The champions, the winners, the high achievers, they don't wait for motivation. They don't wait for inspiration. They just do the work, day in, day out. No excuses, no complaints, just discipline. Think about it. How much time do you waste every day? How many hours do you spend scrolling through social media, watching pointless videos, doing things that add nothing to your future? Now imagine if you used just half of that time to improve yourself. Imagine if you spent that time reading, learning, practicing, working out, building something. Imagine where you would be in 6 months, in a year, in 5 years. Most people say they want success, but their actions say otherwise. They say they want to be in great shape, but they don't take care of their body when no one is watching. They say they want financial freedom, but they waste money on things they don't need. They say they want to be great, but they don't put in the effort when nobody is there to see it. You need to be honest with yourself. You need to hold yourself to a higher standard. Stop expecting results that you haven't worked for. Stop hoping for success when you haven't built the habits that create it. Stop lying to yourself about the effort you're putting in, because in the end, the truth will always reveal itself. The good news is, you have control. You can change your habits. You can start today. You can decide right now that you will stop taking shortcuts, that you will start putting in the work, even when it's hard, that you will stay disciplined, even when nobody's watching. Because if you do that, if you commit to it, your results will change. And when that happens, people will look at you differently. They will wonder how you did it. They will think you were lucky, but you will know the truth. You will know it wasn't luck. It was your discipline. It was your unseen effort. It was every moment you chose to work when you could have made excuses. The choice is yours. Keep making excuses. Keep cutting corners, and stay where you are. Or take responsibility. Put in the work, and build something real. Something that lasts. Something that makes you proud. Because what you do in private will always show up in public. And sooner or later, the world will see who you really are. Number 8. Fear is just a sign. You're growing. Fear is one of the most misunderstood emotions in life. People think fear is a sign to stop, a warning to turn back, a signal that something is wrong. But that's the biggest lie holding people back. Fear is not your enemy. Fear is not telling you to quit. Fear is simply a sign that you are stepping into new territory, that you are pushing yourself beyond what's comfortable, that you are growing into a version of yourself that you've never been before. Look at anyone who has achieved something great. Athletes, entrepreneurs, performers, leaders. Every single one of them felt fear before they made a breakthrough. Every single one of them had doubts. Every single one of them wondered if they were making the right choice. But they kept moving forward anyway. That's the difference between people who succeed and people who stay stuck. It's not that successful people don't feel fear. It's that they don't let fear stop them. The moment you step out of your comfort zone, your mind will flood with fear. It's natural. It's predictable. Your brain is wired to keep you safe, to protect you from risk, to avoid discomfort. But here's the problem. Growth only happens outside of comfort. If you only do what feels safe, what feels familiar, what feels easy, then you will never become more than what you are today. And that should scare you more than anything else. The thought of staying the same, the thought of never reaching your potential, the thought of looking back years from now and realizing you let fear keep you small. Think about the biggest moments in your life, the times you grew the most. Maybe it was your first time speaking in front of a crowd. Maybe it was taking a job you weren't sure you were ready for. Maybe it was moving to a new city, starting a business, chasing a dream. Whatever it was, I guarantee you felt fear. You had doubts. You questioned yourself. But you did it anyway. And on the other side of that fear, you found something new. You found confidence, experience, wisdom. That's how it works. Fear is the doorway to the next level. But most people never walk through it. They let fear stop them. They turn around when they feel discomfort. They think fear means they aren't ready, that they need to wait until they feel more confident. But that's not how it works. Confidence doesn't come first. Action comes first. Confidence comes after you prove to yourself that you can do it. The only way to get over fear is to go through it, to feel it and take action anyway. The people who win in life are not the ones who never feel fear. They are the ones who have trained themselves to move forward despite it. Fear is just resistance. It's like lifting weights at the gym. The more weight you lift, the stronger you get. The more you push through fear, the braver you become. Every time you face fear and take action anyway, you build mental strength. And soon the things that used to terrify you become normal. The situations that once made you nervous now feel easy, because you've grown. But if you always avoid fear, if you always run from discomfort, you stay weak, you stay stuck. And your world gets smaller and smaller. That's why so many people feel trapped in life. Not because they aren't capable, but because they've let fear control them for so long, that they no longer believe they can do more. They've built a habit of running instead of facing challenges. And every time they avoid fear, they reinforce the idea that they can't handle it. But the truth is, they can handle it. They just never gave themselves the chance to prove it. You have to rewire the way you think about fear. Instead of seeing it as a stop sign, see it as a green light, a signal that you're on the right path, a sign that you're doing something meaningful. If you're never afraid, it means you aren't growing. It means you're stuck in routine, repeating the same patterns, never stretching beyond what's comfortable. And comfort is a slow death. It tricks you into thinking you're safe, when really you're just stuck. The people who change the world, the people who make an impact, the people who build extraordinary lives, they all had to face fear and push through it. They didn't wait until they felt ready. They didn't wait until they had all the answers. They acted despite the fear, and that's why they succeeded. Think about this. What are you afraid of right now? What's the thing you keep avoiding because it makes you uncomfortable? Maybe it's speaking up for yourself. Maybe it's applying for that job. Maybe it's starting that project you've been thinking about for years. Whatever it is, that's the thing you need to do. That fear is pointing you toward your next level, but you have to be willing to go through it. Most people let fear steal their dreams. They let doubt keep them small. They let their mind convince them that they aren't capable, but they are. And so are you. You just have to decide that fear will not control you anymore. That you will feel it, acknowledge it, but take action anyway. The reality is, fear never fully goes away. Every time you level up, every time you step into something bigger, you will feel it again. But instead of seeing that as a bad thing, see it as proof that you're growing. The goal is not to eliminate fear. The goal is to learn to move forward despite it. When you understand this, your entire life changes. You stop waiting for confidence to magically appear. You stop looking for excuses to stay where you are. You stop letting fear dictate your choices. And instead you take control. You take action. You step forward even when your hands are shaking. Even when your voice is unsteady. Even when your mind is screaming at you to stop. Because you know what's on the other side of that fear. Growth, strength, success. So don't run from fear. Don't avoid it. Don't let it make decisions for you. Face it. Walk straight into it. Prove to yourself that you are stronger than your doubts. Because once you do, Once you realize that fear is just a feeling and not a fact, you become unstoppable, and nothing can hold you back again. Number 9, you can't have success without sacrifice. Success has a price, and the truth is, most people are not willing to pay it. They want the rewards without the effort, the achievements without the discipline, the results without the struggle. But that's not how success works. If you want something great, if you want to change your life, if you want to reach a level most people never reach, you have to be willing to sacrifice. You have to be willing to give up what is easy for what is necessary. You have to be willing to trade comfort for progress. The reason so many people never get what they truly want in life is not because they aren't capable. It's because they aren't willing. They aren't willing to wake up earlier. They aren't willing to put in the extra hours. They aren't willing to say no to distractions. They aren't willing to cut off the bad habits that are keeping them stuck. And that's why they stay exactly where they are, wishing, hoping, complaining, but never changing. Success is simple, but it's not easy. It requires a level of dedication that most people are not prepared for. It requires making choices that other people don't understand. It requires sacrificing things that might feel good in the moment, but are holding you back in the long run. You can't keep living like everyone else and expect to have a life that's different from theirs. If you want something extraordinary, you have to be willing to do what the ordinary person won't. The reality is, you can't have it all. You can't spend hours scrolling on your phone and expect to be productive. You can't party every weekend and expect to build something meaningful. You can't sleep in every day and expect to be ahead of the competition. Every decision you make is either pushing you forward or holding you back. And if you're not willing to make sacrifices now, you will be forced to make them later. Because one way or another, life demands a price. You either pay it up front through discipline, or you pay it later through regret. Look at anyone who has achieved something great: an athlete training for a championship, an entrepreneur building a business, a student pushing through years of study. They all have one thing in common: sacrifice. They gave up the distractions. They gave up the excuses. They gave up the short-term pleasures that most people cling to. And because of that, they got results. The question is, what are you willing to give up? Because if you're not willing to let go of the habits that are keeping you average, you will never become more than average. If you're not willing to sacrifice time, energy, comfort, and sometimes even relationships, you will never get to where you want to be. Success requires hard choices. It requires moments where you feel like you're missing out. It requires moments where you doubt yourself, where you wonder if it's worth it. And that's why most people quit. Most people will choose comfort over growth. They will choose entertainment over education. They will choose excuses over effort. And then they will wonder why their life never changes. They will look at successful people and call them lucky. But luck has nothing to do with it. It's about what you're willing to do when no one is watching. It's about how badly you want it. It's about whether you are willing to give up what is unnecessary so you can build something extraordinary. Think about it. What do you want more than anything? What dream keeps you up at night? What vision excites you? Now ask yourself, what are you doing to make it a reality? Are you making the necessary sacrifices, or are you holding on to habits, distractions, and people that are keeping you from it? Success doesn't care about your feelings. It doesn't wait for you to be ready. It doesn't show up just because you want it. It comes when you prove you are serious. When you wake up earlier, when you work harder, when you turn off the distractions, when you say no to things that don't serve you, when you stop waiting for motivation and start doing the work no matter how you feel. It's not supposed to be easy. It's not supposed to feel comfortable. That's the whole point of sacrifice. You are trading something that feels good now for something far greater in the future. You are giving up comfort today so you can have freedom tomorrow. You are putting in the work that most people avoid, and because of that, you will have a life most people will never experience. The reason so many people stay stuck is that they don't see the cost of their choices. They don't see how their daily habits are shaping their future. They think that skipping one workout doesn't matter. They think that spending another hour on social media doesn't affect them. They think that putting off their goals for another day won't change anything. But it all adds up. Every decision you make is creating your future. And if you are not willing to sacrifice, you will wake up one day wondering where all your time went, wondering why your dreams never became reality, wondering why you feel stuck in the same place year after year. So ask yourself, what is more important, temporary pleasure or long-term success? What matters more, fitting in with the crowd or building a life that inspires others? Because you can't have both. You can't chase comfort and expect to grow. You can't keep wasting time and expect to be successful. You have to choose. The truth is, the people who are willing to sacrifice now are the ones who get rewarded later. The ones who are willing to be disciplined, to say no to distractions, to put in the extra effort, those are the people who win. Those are the people who look back years from now with pride instead of regret. Those are the people who prove that sacrifice is not about losing. It's about gaining something far greater. So what are you willing to give up? Because if you truly want success, you can't keep holding on to the things that are keeping you from it. You have to decide that your dreams are worth more than your excuses. You have to decide that your future is worth more than your comfort. You have to decide that you will not be like everyone else, that you will pay the price, make the sacrifices, and do whatever it takes to create the life you deserve. Because in the end, success is never about luck, it's about sacrifice. And the ones who are willing to pay that price are the ones who get to live a life without limits. Number 10. Never settle for less. There comes a point in life when you have to make a decision. Are you going to accept what's given to you, or are you going to demand more? Are you going to live on autopilot, settling for a life that is just good enough? Or are you going to push yourself to create something extraordinary? Because the truth is, life will only give you what you are willing to fight for. If you settle for less, that's exactly what you'll get. But if you refuse to accept anything but the best for yourself, life will eventually have no choice but to meet your demands. Most people settle. They settle in their careers, working jobs they hate just because it's comfortable. They settle in their relationships, staying with people who drain them because they're afraid of being alone. They settle in their habits, repeating the same routines every day, even though deep down, they know they're capable of more. And the worst part, they convince themselves that this is just how life is. They tell themselves that dreaming big is unrealistic, that wanting more is selfish, that they should just be grateful for what they have. And while gratitude is important, it should never be an excuse for mediocrity. The moment you start settling is the moment you start dying inside. Because deep down, you know that you were meant for something greater. You know that you are capable of more. You know that there is a fire inside you that refuses to be ignored. And yet most people push that feeling away. They drown it out with distractions, with entertainment, with anything that keeps them from facing the truth. They are living a life far below their potential. You have to understand, settling is a choice. It's not something that happens to you. It's something you allow. When you settle for a job you don't love, that's a choice. When you settle for a lifestyle that doesn't excite you, that's a choice. When you settle for relationships that drain you instead of build you up, that's a choice. And if you are making the choice to settle, you can also make the choice to stop. Why do people settle? Fear of failure, fear of the unknown, fear of what others will think, fear of stepping outside of what's familiar. Because when you stop settling, you have to take responsibility. You have to step up. You have to make uncomfortable decisions. You have to be willing to walk away from things that don't serve you, even if it's hard. But that's the price of greatness, and most people are unwilling to pay it. You cannot have an extraordinary life if you are only willing to do what's easy. You cannot reach your full potential if you keep choosing comfort over growth. You cannot expect to be happy, fulfilled, and successful if you spend your life making compromises on what truly matters. The world doesn't reward people who settle. It rewards people who demand more. The people who refuse to settle are the ones who change the world. They are the ones who build empires, who create breakthroughs, who inspire others to rise. They are the ones who decide that just because something is common doesn't mean it's right. They are the ones who refuse to live a life dictated by fear, excuses, or the expectations of others. And because they refuse to settle, they get results most people will never experience. So let me ask you, what have you been settling for? What part of your life have you been telling yourself is good enough when deep down you know it's not? Where have you allowed fear to make your decisions for you? Because once you recognize it, you have a choice. You can keep settling. You can keep pretending that this is all there is. Or you can decide that you deserve more. You can decide that you will not accept anything less than the life you were meant to live. And understand this, when you refuse to settle, life will test you. It will challenge you. It will push you to your limits. But it's in those moments that you prove how serious you are. It's in those moments that you separate yourself from the crowd. It's in those moments that you show the world and yourself that you are not like everyone else. Stop playing small. Stop accepting average. Stop telling yourself that one day you'll go after what you truly want. Because one day will never come unless you make the decision today, right now, this moment, to stop settling, to start demanding more, to step into the life you were meant to live. Because the only thing standing between you and the life you want is the decision to go after it. So don't settle, not in your goals, not in your habits, not in your relationships, not in anything. Because the life you want is possible, but only if you refuse to accept anything less. Your future is created by what you do today, not tomorrow. Think about that for a second. Every choice you make, every action you take, it's shaping the person you're becoming. If you wait, if you keep making excuses, if you let fear hold you back, nothing will change. But if you start now, if you commit to growth, if you push yourself even when it's hard, your life will transform in ways you never imagined. The truth is, no one is coming to save you. No one is going to hand you success. No one is going to do the work for you. It's all on you. And that's not a bad thing. It's the best thing. Because that means you have the power to change everything. So stop waiting. Stop settling. Stop doubting yourself. You already have everything you need to become your best self. But you have to take action. Not next week. Not when it's convenient. Right now. If you're serious about building a better future, then prove it. Be disciplined. Be consistent. Be relentless. Because the effort you put in today will pay off in ways you can't even see yet. Most people will watch this and feel motivated for a few minutes, but motivation fades. What matters is what you do next. Are you going to go back to the same habits, the same excuses, or are you going to make a real change? The choice is yours. Your future is waiting. Make sure you don't waste it.